And as we mentioned, just as we predicted, Fiorentina have gone through to the finals of this year's UEFA Europa Conference League. Understand? And it was thanks to the fact that Lucas Beltran's late penalty is the one that actually sent the Viola to their second Europa Conference League final in as many seasons. And then Club Brugge were unable to build on Hans van Aken's opener in Belgium. It was actually an interesting game, great atmosphere. It was a game that was pretty much in the balance. You would think that, the Belgians would actually capitalize on their home ground advantage, the fact that they actually had the 12 men rallying behind them, but it wasn't actually meant to be because Fiorentina put in a sucker punch. That goal, that equalizer, that penalty goal, was a sucker punch by Belgium, right? So Fiorentina made it to their second successive UEFA Europa Conference League final after Lucas Beltran's late penalty actually restored their aggregate lead against Club Brugge, and that sent the Viola in the decider at the EAEK Arena in Athens on Wednesday, the 29th of May. Okay, so let's just look at the game in brief. Fiorentina actually did put pressure on Club Brugge in Belgium. Going into the game, a goal behind, Club Brugge actually started with intent, and they were rewarded with a goal, in the 20th minute. And Hans van Aken's long searching ball, going all the way through to level the tie on aggregate. That was actually that type of a goal whereby it was meant to actually be a cross, but either way, it still got the intended target, right? It's still got. I'm not meaning like the intended target is the player, but I'm saying the intended target in terms of like it still happened. It still found the back of the net, because what's more important is the fact that it found the back of the net, right? And the visitors actually responded with waves of attacks, right? Belgium shot narrowly wide of target almost immediately after his side conceded, and Fiorentina went on to hit the woodwork 3 times, twice through Christian Kwame, as well as once from, Cristiano Berrachi's free kick. And what an incredible game that was, man. I thought this game would go to extra time, or I thought Fiorentina were just really gonna kill the game, because you couldn't tell which side was actually gonna win, because in knockout competition, irregardless of which side is actually dominating, irregardless of which side actually has the better of the chances, the fact is the ball has to find the back of the net. So that means that the game is pretty much in the balance, right? And with 5 minutes of normal time remaining and the game heading to extra time, the Viola were awarded a penalty, and Beltran, stepped up to actually fire low past Simon Mignolet. Van Aken went agonizingly close to bringing the host back into the game, forcing, Filippo Terriciano to make a fine save in added time. However, from that particular moment in time, Fiorentina now have the chance to actually seek redemption for last year's loss to West Ham United in the final of the competition, right? And remember, West Ham, were knocked out in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Europa League to Bundesliga champions Bayer Leverkusen, okay? And what can I just say? Fiorentina, they got their decisive goal. That one goal that they just needed. They got it. And from this particular moment in time, it was actually so intense, to say the least. That's the best way I can actually describe this particular encounter between Club Brugge and Fiorentina, the second leg. Club Brugge showed their hunger, and they were rewarded with the goal in the first half. But Fiorentina dictated the play from then onwards, and hit the woodwork 3 times. Club Brugge were hemmed inside their own half for much of the second half. But, they looked to have weathered the storm until Beltran scored from the spot. And the second final in as many years for Vincenzo Italiano's side, while Club Brugge have still not reached a European decider like in decades now. The last time Club Brugge ever reached the final of any European competition was in 1978. So, the wait still continues for the Belgians. And it is actually a wonderful victory for Fiorentina, because it's the second consecutive year that they're now in the final. And I would say, Fiorentina, based on my own point of view, my own analysis, based on my own perspective of how the game went, the fact that Fiorentina actually played an amazing game. The second half of the game, they showed immense, and they showed great quality. The fact that they hit the woodwork 3 times, and the team showed personality against a team of great quality, to say the least. And going to the final, you know what? I say, Fiorentina, they deserve it. And they should actually cherish this moment once again. Hopefully, they will be lucky this time. They will either face Olympiacos or Aston Villa in the final. And on the side of Club Brugge, started the game with so much energy and intensity. They played a good first half and they deserved that lead at halftime. The unfortunate reality from a Club Brugge perspective is the fact that they just could not keep up at that level in the second half. When you look at the way how they played the game, they brought so much intensity. You understand? It was just not to be. I think that equalizer that was scored, by Fiorentina was like actually a sucker punch, and it actually killed the performance, right? And the fact that, they were denied once again another goal, through their goal scorer. It was one of those types of matches where they were just unlucky. But look, it was a great atmosphere, wonderful atmosphere, great game of football to actually watch. And I guess the team that deserved to go through went through, right? And I would say, Fiorentina playing another final for a second time, looking at the way, hopefully this time they will be lucky, because whoever wins the UEFA Conference League obviously secures qualification to the UEFA Europa League. It's just automatic. So that's just the way it is. And to say the least, Fiorentina will be the first team to compete in two Europa Conference League finals, right? I repeat, Fiorentina is the first team to compete in two Europa Conference League finals, right? And the Italian side are unbeaten in their last 13 European matches. They've won 7 and they've actually drawn 6. Basically, that is like their longest run, including the qualifications. And they've won their last 9, two-legged Europa Conference League ties. So to add on to that, the Viola only failed to score in 2 of their last 27 UEFA competition matches. Right? On the other side of Club Brugge have not reached a UEFA competition final since the European Cup final in 1978. And the Belgian side are the top goal scorers in the men's UEFA club competitions this season with 42 goals, including the qualifications. And Club Brugge are now without a win in 13 matches against Italian sides. They've drawn 5 and they've lost 8. So basically the nightmare continues for the Belgians. And Fiorentina are now like a nominal away team as they take on either Olympiacos or Aston Villa in the final in Athens on the 29th of May. I'm definitely looking forward to that one, Hopefully, but I think Olympiacos should just win because it's a Greek side should be in the final. I mean, the final will be in Greece. So I think the final should have a Greek side. You understand? So, sorry, Aston Villa. I like you guys a lot, but sorry, man. Sorry. And already, man, I don't see Aston Villa overturning that 2-goal deficit. I truly don't honestly see them overturning that 2-goal deficit. But, look, anything can happen in football. Anything can happen. And I want us to look at that particular encounter between Olympiacos as well as Aston Villa. Olympiacos can become... They stand a chance of becoming only the second Greek team to reach a major UEFA competition final, and the first since Panathinaikos in the 1970s, right? It was in the 1970-71 season, right? And Trilos, have been impressive in European action, at the Stadio Georgios, Karikakis of late, triumphing in 4 of their last 5 matches. You understand what I'm saying? And they have a man in form. And we're talking about none other than the Moroccan striker Ayoub El Kabi, who's basically level at the top of the Europa Conference League scoring charts with 8 goals following his hat-trick, right? And I would say, Olympiacos, basically I see them going through to the final. They needs to be a Greek side, man. It cannot be that the final will be in Greece and there's no Greek side. Sorry, Aston Villa. Next time, man. Maybe you guys will try in the Champions League, but obviously there's big guns there. So, but Aston Villa have had a wonderful season. You understand? Sorry, Villa. But we'll be in touch pretty soon, man. Cheers.